Hello, guys! Welcome to the first ever episode of ADHDivas. We're so excited to bring you this podcast today. Brand new to the Body Slam Network. We're so excited to be here with you. Let's talk about who we have on the show with us. We have, oh, fuck it. I fucked it up already. Kiley Fuller. That's what this whole show is going to be, me fucking shit up. Kiley, who are you?
I'm Kiley Fuller. I do writing and podcasting for bodyslam.net.
And you do interviews too, but it's okay. Fuck the interviews.
And the interviews, but okay.
Haley, who are you?
I'm Haley. I do writing for Body Slam, and I also write over at Nerds and Beyond, some wrestling writing and some other stuff. So, yeah.
Haley and Kiley are both very, very smart people. And I'm here to just fuck shit up all the time. My name's Jaychele. I'm co-managing editor of Body Slam. I'm on a couple shows. I do lots of different stuff. I do these shows. I do Fantasy Booking Friday, GCW post shows, interviews, of course, with Kiley. Kiley's on the GCW post show as well. We just did one last night. So we're chilling. Let's hop right into this, okay? Okay. Let's break this down. Let's explain how we got here. That's a crucial part of the story. So when we first came up with this show, we all were like, we got to make this show different some way, somehow. And I was like, let's do cold opens. Let's do cold opens at the beginning of every show. So next time, there's not going to be an intro. You got an intro this time. Next time, no intro. We're just going for it. This time, we got an intro. But the three of us all have our own likes and dislikes when it comes to food. I'm potato girl. Kiley is onion girl. And Haley is tomato girl. So we were in a production meeting for this show, and we were trying to think of how we're going to open this show. And then Haley was like, what would a raw potato taste like? I'm just going to take a bite of a raw potato. Takes a bite of a raw potato while we're not on the air. No one's recording. I was recording.
For her own enjoyment. We didn't even tell her to do it. She just got up.
Now here we are. And Haley's going to eat an onion on air.
Which doesn't make sense because Kiley's the onion girl, but, you know.
You volunteered before, though. You were like, what would an onion taste like? I was like, save it for the show. Save it for the show. We are now at the show. We've been putting this off for a little while. So.
Okay, let's go.
I'm so scared. Okay, I'm doing this for y'all and the show in the bit, so. I hate it. Worst thing I've ever done. I hate it.
You hate
you
it?
Crying?
Oh no.
Oh, this is devolving quickly.
You can spit it out, you know.
Oh.
Real tears.
Oh my god. Oh god. What does it taste like? Give us a flavor profile.
Raw?
I mean, that's on tomorrow, but okay, better description, please.
I don't know. What does raw onion taste like? I'm literally having a mental breakdown.
You did so good, though.
I'm sure all my friends watching this right now are getting a kick out of it.
I'm so sorry.
They're just
oh my god.
Not a good thing. They're just like, we need to put this on the internet.
Oh, you're lucky. I love you guys.
Oh, we love you too. Next week, I'm gonna eat a jalapeno, I guess. Apparently, that's what I'm doing.
Eats and all. Yeah, you are.
Apparently, before it was a spicy chip, but we couldn't agree which chips were spicy and what chips weren't spicy. They want to know about the potato, Haley. I guess you got to tell them about the potato too now, because
honestly,
the potato went way worse. I feel like.
Oh, the potato. Don't show the video, but you know, it was bad.
I think maybe we should do it one day for like exclusive footage.
I said for her birthday. We should show it for her birthday.
It tasted like dirt is the best way to describe it. And I washed the potato, so it was clean, but it just tasted like dirt. It's not. Don't do it. Don't recommend.
Kylee's gonna walk on Legos after me. How are you feeling about the Legos?
I mean, I'm pretty cool about it. I don't think it's as bad as.
Yeah, it's not as torturous.
No.
It's very painful.
I mean, yeah, but it's over.
Oh, I just got some screenshots of you. Oh, ho, ho, ho. We're going to push that on the Twitter.
Content.
Yes.
Potato equals dirt.
Don't recommend. Don't do it.
All right, so on a scale from 1 to 10, what was the onion?
I mean, I feel like taking a bite out of it was the worst idea I could have ever made. So I'm going to go with, like, a solid 8.
Can we see the onion to see how big of a bite you took, please?
I mean, sure.
Oh my gosh! That's a big bite!
You guys told me to eat an onion, so that's what I did. Like,
can we wait for the 1-year anniversary where Jaychele pulls a brandy and sets a table on fire?
Would love that. She loves setting things on fire. She sets cardboard on fire all the time.
In our production meetings. She's like, what will happen if I set this on fire?
I mean, you gotta do it sometimes. I feel like I would look really great in like that sweater. Like she had that hoodie thing. She had the whole. I would do it. I would so do it. I don't know what table I can set on fire or how I would do that. Especially because 1-year anniversary, I will likely be in college, and I don't think I could do that at my dorm. So we'll have to see how that happens.
We'll make it happen.
Don't promise people things, Kylie. I don't make it happen. Okay, let's quickly talk about GCW before. No. I don't do nothing bad. I simply state my opinion, and people attack me. So I had to turn off my regular tweets to now people who I follow, which I guess is.
It's for the best.
Sure. Okay, let's talk GCW real quick. We have a panel of Black guests that we're going to bring on to talk about what happened this weekend in wrestling. But before we get to that, let's quickly run through GCW so we can kind of cover some of that, because that was a lot of also some of the positive stuff that was happening this weekend. We had GCW Till Infinity. We had a JCW show, which was called Dead End. And then we also had GCW Die For This, which we covered last night. Just if you guys want to talk about any highlights, any matches that you liked, anything, any moments that you enjoyed. Everybody knows what moments I enjoyed, but Kylie, you want to go first? You're a resident GCW champion.
I mean, can I talk about Effie again?
Yeah, go for it.
I love Effie. I think Effie is the pinnacle of wrestling. Jeff Jarrett is also great, but Effie. Yes, Jeff Jarrett's great. I love TNA, but Effie.
That's where the show is starting. I love TNA.
I did love TNA. I watched TNA all the time when I watched it from like the beginning, and now I watch Impact. But special place in my heart. But Effie, the State of Effie was the best segment of the weekend for GCW. I thought Effie was fantastic. The Jeff Jarrett thing was fantastic. He did, but you know what? He's Effie, and he's fine. Effie is fine, guys. So GCW was great. The Briscoes were great. I think Calvin Tankman was great. I think he's kind of the unsung hero of GCW right now, especially with guys like Atticus Cogar and Jordan Oliver ascending into the main event. I think that Calvin Tankman and all these new young talent, and Starboy Charlie when he comes back, I think that they'll be the future of GCW. I thought it was a great weekend of shows for them.
We also have an interview with Jeff Jarrett. If you guys want to check that out, it'll be on the same Body Slam page as well. What did you think, Haley?
I mean, you guys know I love Joey Janela, so I really enjoyed the Joey Janela and Scotty 2 Hottie match. I think that Joey's not underrated, but I think that there's something so special about the way that he's able to put legends and other people over. I just think he's a star, and I love Joey so much. I also love Nick Wayne, so Nick Wayne's match was really good. I just thought it was an overall great weekend of shows also.
And we also got to credit to
Charlie Evans and Allie Catch.
Oh, y'all left my people for me. Thank you, God. Okay. Y'all know I got to talk about my besties. AJ Gray had all the giftable moments. Had a great weekend. He had a great spot with Allie Catch and Billy Starks. My other bestie. I was raging the whole last night on the post show because my one bestie, AJ Gray, eliminated my other bestie, Billy Starks. I was like, they're doing this to spite me.
They plotted backstage. They were like, you know what? You think they did it? You know, you can confront them about it. Here's what we'll do: we'll invite them on the podcast, and then they'll be like, it was a trap. Actually,
AJ is not coming on this podcast.
2/3 vote.
Not. No. I would love to have him on. I'll vote with you for that, but I don't think he would come on. AJ doesn't like me that much.
Well, you're besties.
Yeah.
The battle of
book it.
Jesus Lord.
Someone tag Brett Lauderdale and say book it.
Clip
tag Billy too. I think Billy would do it. She would go, hell yeah.
She would.
God. Okay. Do we want to talk about Everett Connors and Charlie Evans for a second? Because I feel like that was another great moment that we got to hear about. We got to see, obviously. They're one of my favorite couples in wrestling. They're so cute. They had their match at JCW. Loser leaves town. It looks like they're now both actually going to England for like a UK tour. What do you guys think about their duo and their matches and everything like that happened this weekend?
I thought it was good. I was excited when they announced the match and it was Loser Leaves Town. I thought it was good. I think everything they do is good. And I just wish they got more recognition from fans. I feel like they're so talented, but they kind of fly under the radar. So maybe this UK thing will help put a spotlight on them.
And I think too that Everett really sold during the match, like really sold. And I wasn't surprised, but like I guess like, you know, you got to put your girl over. Like,
I mean, you better.
Yeah, you better.
What did you guys think about the Battle Royal, the death matches we saw? Those death matches were brutal. What did you guys think about them?
Well, I'm a really big deathmatch fan, so I loved it.
You are.
I thought they were really good. I thought the Battle Royal was really good, but the death match from last night, we talked about this on the post show. It was good. I thought it was chaotic. I thought there was too much going on. I thought it was overbooked, and it was not very GCW. As harsh of a criticism as that might seem, but I still thought it was good. I just think we need to get back to a place where the death matches are as simple as possible because the spots are so big and they're so just eye-catching. We don't need all this interference and did he quit the match? Did he not quit the match? The ref is heavily involved. We don't really need that in a death match.
Very, very fair. Are you guys okay with moving on from GCW, just more important stuff? Not that GCW isn't great, it is, but we obviously had a weekend, to say the least, in the wrestling world. Originally, when we first taped some of the stuff for this show, we had taped some stuff for day one, and it was basically like a predictions thing, but that ended up getting messed up. So we're going to give you some live coverage on that. I do have some black folks backstage I'm going to bring on. Let's bring them on. We have Phil and Spice here with us. Let me bring on your sorry, I suck at this today, guys. Let me bring on your names. Okay, I have reserved a lot of my ideas and opinions about what's happened with both situations. Obviously, by now, everybody knows what happened with Big Swole and Tony Khan. And last night at day one, Big E lost his championship in 8 minutes to Brock Lesnar, who was added to the match last minute. And I have not really said anything on Twitter about my actual opinions about what happened with Big Swole. I also do want to put it out there that me and Big Swole are actually like kind of close, so it was even more personal for me. I don't know if you guys remember, but I wrote the article about Big Swole when she left, the Dear Big Swole article, and me and her have like grown closer since then. And I was actually on the podcast when I talked to her while the podcast was actually happening. Okay. I don't even know where we start with this. The first thing I think we should talk about is Will on Grapsy that Phil is also on really described this well. That we're not so much talking about diversity right now. It's more so about Black male representation and Black representation in wrestling. And that was one of the things that I majorly agreed with. That's a lot of the things that people in general on the internet have been calling for when it comes to AEW. So that was not a new criticism when it came out. I do want to say the way that Tony so quickly was like, "Oh, you're not a good wrestler," or "We didn't pick up your contract because you're not a good wrestler." I bought Spice on because you are a booker, so you can kind of give us a little bit of your perspective. One of my main issues was also that now that Big Swole is a free agent, she has to get independent bookings. So for a former boss to say that you're not good at your job, it could be messing with her money. I just wanted to kind of get your opinion on the whole situation from a booker's perspective. Oh, I think you're muted. No. Can you guys hear? Let me unmute you.
Am I good?
Yep, there you are.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, it's like stuff like that. It's very unprofessional. And in a way of like, you know, if Big Swole wasn't, you know, it's like one of these things. I don't even know how to put it. It was just very like, you know, unprofessional, and I take it kind of as just as a woman in general of like, you can't say, you know, issues that you had with your past company, but other people can, and it's totally fine. But if I say something, then it's like my work is all of a sudden like demeaned, and you know, it was just very demoralizing and just frustrating to see. As a booker, I mean, luckily, you know, it's one of those things where it's very easy to see somebody's body of work and understand that opinions are, you know, different. So if it's very well that, you know, he can have his opinion, that's all fine and dandy. But to do it in such a public way like that, very, very unprofessional.
I took down a couple of stats that I've seen online recently that were really alarming to me. Okay. One of the main issues that we always have is Black people being featured on pay-per-views in AEW. So I looked at the Full Gear card, and they had Nyla Rose on the buy-in, and they had Scorpio Sky in the multi-man match. And that was an extremely long card, and there were lots more people on that card that were not of color or specifically Black. And then also, we look at Hook right now, and how many matches has Hook had? 2. How many victories has Hook had? 2. Hook has more singles TV victories than Shawn Dean, Sonny Kiss, and Ricky Starks combined, which are 3 people combined compared to 1 white person. And then one of my main issues I always, I always just take is people say that they don't see any Black wrestlers with star potential like they do with Darby Allin and Jungle Boy. And I wonder why that is, because the company hasn't positioned them to look like stars yet. And until that begins to change, we won't see them as stars. We can see their potential, but because the company hasn't positioned them in that way, we won't see them like that. We didn't see Darby Allin and Jungle Boy as TV stars when they first came to the company. So it's completely wrong for us to expect wrestlers to just automatically become stars without any of the company's backing. And that was one of the things that's mandatory. And I also feel like once Jade came into the picture, they saw another strong Black woman who was authentically Black and was like, we have 2 of these people, we can pick one. And that's what we've seen when it comes to generalizing Black talent. Lots of people have compared and contrast because, oh, this person looks like this person looks like this person. We saw it with Jade Cargill and BFAB a while back. And that's kind of what this has felt like is because this person's not here, we can use this person. But also, a lot of people are saying, oh, Will Hobbs has had a good experience. Leo Rush released his tweet, but just because they have had positive experiences doesn't discount Swole's experience as well. And I think that was one of the important things that I wanted to point out as well. Phil, you talked for a long time yesterday on the Grapsity podcast. Can you share a little bit of your thoughts about the situation, and then we can get into Big E as well?
Which part of the situation? Because boy, there's a lot to unpack. Is it just like their issue with representation, just the situation between Swole and Tony, what Swole actually said? There's just so much to actually say something about.
Yeah, I think we should start with Black representation, because I think the Swole comments have been misconstrued because people don't want to actually listen to the podcast and they're just reading the article and yada, yada, yada.
I think when you talk about representation, people take it to be, okay, well, they've got black wrestlers, right? They've signed black wrestlers, and some of them are on TV. And you can say something like, oh, well, Scorpio's won some matches. Scorpio's been champion. Nyla's been a champion, right? Dante's been on TV. Like, this person's been there. But, you know, when you say representation, it isn't just like a matter of like giving out an attendance award, right? Like, it isn't just like, oh, these people are here. It matters like, you know, what are they doing? Like, you know, is it consistent? And I do think that they have made great strides as a company, but there have been a bunch of setbacks as well. And I feel like every time we talk about representation, people will go back to, okay, well, Scorpio was booked well in their first year. I'm like, all right, well, that was a year ago. Like, or, you know, this person was booked well at one point. Yeah, that's good, but that doesn't discount that there may or may not be a problem here. And I think the other problem is that, how do I put this? There are people that talk about representation, and they talk about it in a very sensationalist way, right? So it's like if you have one person that is picking this topic and they're editorializing it poorly, then, you know, people will respond in kind to other people that talk about representation because they're looking at this person's bad take, and so they're taking a reactionary take to everybody that talks about it. Now, that doesn't make it right, but I do think that there's an issue in this industry with how we talk about race and representation. There isn't a lot of nuanced conversation around it.
I completely agree. And I feel like whenever I have conversations with people, specifically people who aren't Black, which is something I've stopped doing, I just won't do it. I've literally said I will not have a conversation with you about race and wrestling if you are not Black. I just won't. I don't have the emotional capacity. But what it always devolves into for me is people always begin to talk about shortcuts and tokenism. And they're like, we don't want to see a champion just because he's Black. When in reality, that really makes me question how much of that is their implicit bias, because it just seems like they're slighting Black wrestlers. They're saying that there's nobody who's the caliber of Kenny Omega. There's nobody who's the caliber of Adam Page. But how are they supposed to be at that caliber or that level of stardom when they haven't had the backing of the company, or they haven't even had the shot to really show that they can be that type of star? And then I also really take issue with whenever we have these conversations and people feel that it's just okay to talk over Black voices. And that's why I specifically wanted to bring some Black folks on this panel, is because whenever we have these conversations, people who are not of melanin color will have these conversations without us in the room. And that's one of the hurdles that we are still struggling to get over. If you don't mind, I want to talk about the Big E thing, because I had to do that GCW show, and I was watching the GCW show, and I was like, okay, I had the other show on right next to it. I was just watching, I was going back and forth, and I just see Rock hit an F5 on Big E, and I went, oh, he's going to kick out. He's going to kick out of an F5. 1, 2, 3. And I was like, okay, maybe I need to take a second to breathe, because I don't understand what's happening. And then I saw a tweet that basically ran down Big E's title run. So I have it here. So he won the title on September 13th. He lost to Roman in a Bloodline Trios match with the New Day on the 20th. He lost to the Usos by countout on the 10th of October. He lost to Rollins and the Usos on the 15th. He lost to Roman at Survivor Series in that match where he didn't even get any involvement when other people who faced Roman did. He lost to Owens by DQ on the 29th. He lost to Lashley on the 13th, and he lost the title to Brock at day 1. So in those 100 days, he took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses, not counting the loss of his title. And that's no way to book a champion. But specifically, when we look at how Black champions have been booked, this is a pattern. And I felt so much PTSD when it was Big E taking the pin. I was like, okay, there's 3 things here. 1, the history with Kofi, obviously. I asked Kiley off air. I was like, do they think that this is long-term storytelling? Is this what they think that this is? Is this how they came to this conclusion? 2, I thought it was completely shitty for Big E to take the pin when there were other people there who would have been hurt less by him taking the pin. And 3, that was such a hot-shotted decision. But that's always what happens whenever they need to make a hot-shot decision. It happened with Bianca. When Becky came back, they were like, oh, Bianca can't have the title. We need Becky to have it. When Brock came back, oh, Kofi can't have the title. We need Brock to have it. And they did the exact same thing again. And that's because they feel so comfortable disrespecting Black people that they don't care that they can just hot-shot the title around when it comes to Black folks. Like, instead of allowing them to have their full title reign, they're just like, you know what? It doesn't matter. We'll just give it to the white person. And it's always a system. So like when we look at Sasha Banks also, she had short and poor booked reigns as well. And nobody really talks about them because we've kind of just, I guess, moved on. But we also look at Naomi as well. She had a really, really poorly booked reign, and she also lost to a white woman again. And these are just like issues that are over.
When you really think about it, when you go even all the way back to The Rock didn't have long title reigns. He never had long title reigns. Even when you look at Kofi's title reign, until Bobby, I think Bobby's is a few days longer than Kofi's. Kofi was the longest reigning Black World Champion in a company. In the history of the company. As many times as Rock was champion, that one reign, he had more days as champion than any of Rock's.
And also, this was Big E's first main event, so he hasn't main evented any other shows. And the only reason he main evented this one was because that Roman was unable to be at the show.
Wasn't there.
Right.
There's so many things about this that annoyed me. Just the fact that they announced Brock hours before the show, and then that immediately turned into, okay, well, Brock has to win. Brock isn't even in the storyline for this match. He's been in a storyline with Roman for months. Why does he have to win this match? That doesn't make any sense. He's not even on Raw. He hasn't been on Raw in how long?
There was the graphic from Fox that it was stating that Big E was the winner of the match, and they replaced it with Brock's face, so it looks like that was the result.
Maybe, but, and I mean, he might have been booked to win before this, but if you look at the result to it, I believe the result was he was going to pin Lashley, which kind of says everything, doesn't it? And this goes back to what you said earlier, because you were saying that people will say that nobody in the company had the kind of star power that Kenny Omega had, right? Or Hangman Page, or, this person. A big reason why Kenny Omega is because he was treated like a star elsewhere. So even when he wasn't a champion in AEW, you knew that he could be a star. There's so many Black wrestlers that we don't know if they can be a star coming in that they signed because they haven't been allowed to do it anywhere else. Exactly. They've been given one world title reign, and that's it. That's enough. Like, okay, well, you were champion once. How many times have we heard that with Naomi? Well, she has been champion twice. It's like, why do we have to settle for 1 or 2 reigns? Why is it that, there are, when you think of all-time great Black wrestlers, again, that goes back to Rock. When you think about Rock is not known for having a bunch of title reigns. He's known for a bunch of great feuds, bunch of good programs. But when you talk about somebody that has like the most title reigns in the company, you look at like a Triple H, you look at like a Orton, HBK, all of these guys. But there aren't a lot of Black names on that list. And there's a reason for that. And so when people are like, oh, well, because I saw a lot of this last night, like, guys, relax. Somebody can lose. Like, everybody loses sometimes. It's not a matter that people are mad that Big E lost. It's that we have to wait so long for them to get an opportunity. And then when they get it, it's like, all right, well, when our star is back, they got to lose because it's his time now. And it just felt like that from the beginning. Like the second Brock was back, Brock's the last person out because he's the attraction, not the champion. Same thing with Kofi. Hey, we're premiering on Fox, so we got to use a real star in Brock. Same thing with Bianca. Hey, real star's back. She got to lose, and that's what bothers me about it. It's not the fact that they lost. It's just the subtext behind it that it's like, all right, well, they had a reign. Now we got a star. You got to put it on them because they're a draw. All right, well, let us see that black people can draw, man. You won't even give them a chance.
Right. As you were saying that, one of the things that I thought of is people when talking about black representation, they always have mentioned Swerve, Keith Lee, and Shane Taylor, kind of, sort of, and talking about them coming into AEW. And they're like, oh, Keith Lee and Swerve can go right to the main event. And I'm wondering why they think that, because it seems like in order for a black person to be a star within that company, it seems like they have to go to WWE first. And that's how it seems like it's being presented right now.
Well, I can answer the question on Swerve. Swerve was a multiple-time world champion other places before he came to WWE. I always felt like he was wasted at WWE because, like, when he got there, they just basically told us, oh, he's a cruiserweight or he's a mid-card champion. This is a guy that was, MLW world champion. And you look at the guys that he was feuding with, like Matt Riddle, and look how Matt Riddle was treated in comparison to how he was treated at WWE. And it's just not the same. And that's why I'm like, I think Swerve could, because Swerve at one point was the hottest free agent in the world. He was so hot at one point that ESPN was covering him. That they don't just do that for any independent wrestler. It's the same thing with like the way Lee Moriarty was in Sports Illustrated, like just like before he signed with AEW. And so I think that there is a difference between like some people having a run and coming in, and that's why I said, when people are like, oh, this person didn't come into the company with the same equity as Kenny Omega, there are wrestlers that have, but it took them so long to sign some that did, and that's partially because the market was different, because WWE was signing up everybody, and it's just not the same anymore. But yeah, I don't know. It was very disappointing to watch people last night try to tell everybody like, oh, well, people lose, man. Why are you guys getting so upset about a loss, man? Everybody loses sometime, guys. Like, stop talking to me like I'm a kid, man. Like, stop talking to me like I'm a baby that can't understand that people lose sometimes, man. Somebody
literally said, they were like, you should be happy that they were in the main event.
That's what I'm saying. Stop rewarding the bare minimum, man. Stop it. Stop rewarding the bare minimum and then screaming you want representation other places, man. Just be honest, man.
We have SP3 in here, and we have Omar. SP3, you have a great title on your name tag. Do you want to talk about why you think wrestling hates black people really quickly?
I mean, I'm a person that uses logic and reason. I take a look at the information presented in front of me, and what I surmise between 6 p.m. on New Year's Eve 2021 till now is that wrestling hates black people. I mean, Big Swole addressed that whole topic about diversity in AEW better than anyone probably could, because she had the experience of being there, and she did address that they do have a diverse roster full of different people. But her real point was you can always do better. Which, I mean, if I'm Tony Khan, I would have read or at least listened to the interview, one, and two, I would have just said, like, we're gonna take into account what she said. We appreciate her work with us, and we'll try to be better. That's all he had to do. He did not need to put, I feel like nowadays, what Tony Khan did is the new version of what, like, I know a lot of y'all are young, but I know me and Phil grew up at a time where white people used to always tell us, I got a black friend. That's what Tony Khan did. He's like, Nyla Rose won, Mass Caster won. He's like, I'm gonna name all my black friends, and I'm gonna let you know that they actually win in AEW. Like, I was just so baffled, because Tony Khan has been someone that wrestling fans have embraced better than any owner of a professional wrestling company in history, because a lot of us was under the mind state that he thought like us, that he was a professional wrestling fan, that he was a minority, that he said, oh, I'm a minority owner, I'm one of the minority owners. Well, the first thing you should know is that you just did a microaggression by mentioning like her whole, what did her wrestling have to do with what she said? I think that this is a nuanced conversation, and people need to realize that you can be two things. AEW is a diverse company, and AEW also doesn't have African Americans in the main event scene. You can be both. You can be both. Up and down the roster, they represent a lot of different places, a lot of different races. They did a good job with that. But as far as when I look at the main event scene in AEW, it doesn't have people that look like me. And as far as Big E,
so Sid, right quick though, I do think that it's kind of funny when you were saying all of that, is that when you look at a lot of the guys that AEW signed in their first year, there were a lot of guys that came there that kind of got the press run of how poorly they were treated somewhere else. And the way that, you know, that helped get them over with the AEW crowd is something that we can't kind of ignore. And so now you've got somebody that is outright coming out of that situation and doing the opposite and going, hey, I was there. It ain't, you know, as great as, you know, people make it out to be. And you got people doing the opposite and being mad at them. But it's like, no, you were championing other people like Mox or, you know, Jericho or all these other people that left WWE and told you that they didn't have a good experience there.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like she kind of just said she had a bad overall experience. It was taken away from her happiness as time went on, and seeing all the people coming in and kind of getting pushed back and back further and further in the line. That's totally understandable. And she expressed herself perfectly. That's why I was just like, why? Why did this need to be the response?
What you said was a lot nicer, if we're being honest. What she said was a lot nicer than what Mox said about WWE.
Yes.
It's a lot. And that's not me bashing Mox. I don't want it to come off that way. But I do just think it's funny that every time we have a problem with something, and I mean black people, we have to say it in the nicest way possible. We can't hurt anybody's feelings. We gotta be as, you know, respectful as possible. And even when we are, it's still a problem.
It never fails. It never fails. We can't. It's called winning for losing. That's what we're doing right now, and that's why my name is as such.
Man, I'm glad she dropped that clip on Saturday, by the way, of her saying nice things about Tony, and how she was saying he was super generous and all these other things. And I felt like that, you know, that was all that needs to be said after that. She didn't need to say anything else because it was pretty damning.
Yeah, like Tony Khan, the one thing that AEW has more than any company in my lifetime is goodwill. And I've never seen someone at the top do a better job of erasing all that goodwill. It hasn't erased completely, but the people that I've already been pointing out every mistake and every misstep that AEW does, they now have a little bit of credence behind that now.
Omar, do you have some thoughts? Oh, sorry. Spice, do you want to go?
I was just going to state that it was also kind of like alarming in the fact of like no one really stood up for her either. And it just kind of shows you like I don't know, like it's an unfortunate situation. But yeah, what do you guys, can I ask, like, what do you guys feel about that? Like, no one, I guess someone did stand up, but then they kind of retracted literally the next day. So,
the way I said it was, and I said this when Sean was on the show, is that I feel like her experience is unique, because, you know, if all these other guys are coming out and saying I had this experience, I had that experience, they're all men. Her experience is different as a woman. And it's not just saying that, you know, there's a lack of black representation. It's me also saying, like, the women have been fighting to get screen time. And so you're dealing with two issues at the same time. So whether, you know, the other guys that said something mean well and they also have had good experiences, her experience is not the same as theirs. So they can't really speak on her situation. And as far as people not really standing up for her, like Leo stood up for her, but I also feel like wrestling is very much not a meritocracy. And I talked to Jonathan Gresham a while ago, and the thing he was saying that completely drove this line home is that in other sports, black people are at the top of it because it isn't a matter of you given an opportunity, you earn it, right? It doesn't matter. You don't have to wait for somebody to see that you're the best. You can prove you're the best. And so in terms of that, there are people that might be in a good spot, and coming back and taking her side would mean you would lose that spot. And that's not me saying, that people are, being opportunistic, but that's just the world we live in. Some people just don't want to lose their spot, man. It's a cutthroat game, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna add, you kind of have to kind of go around the eggshells of the situation, and I think that Leo Rush, I think he had a little bit of PTSD with this whole experience. Like, it made him feel like in other places where he's worked, and I think that's why he came out and was vocal about it. But obviously, from how he replied the following day, he had a conversation with Tony. It wasn't just like he tweeted it out and then I called that a retraction. If you tweet it out and then you have a conversation with the person you need to, and then you put out a more like thought out explanation of how you're feeling, I don't consider that retracting. That's basically evolution. That's how you have a conversation, and it's supposed to change your viewpoint. If you have a conversation with the person that offended you, then you did what you had to do, and I feel like Leo did.
Yeah, you're very much right. Yeah.
Omar, I wanted to circle back to you. What do you think about the whole situation between, you can either talk about the Big E stuff or the Big Swole stuff? Wow, people, I guess, don't like the word big in wrestling.
First of all, I want to start by praising Phil Lindsay. I've known you for like 2 years now, been a fan of your content for a while, whether it's Ring the Bellies or Bleacher Report or even Daily DDT. So shout out to you, my man, doing great things. And SP3, what up, my man? As far as I feel about the Tony Khan situation, I mean, what can I say other than it's pretty reactionary, pretty tone deaf. And, I thought about this from like a capitalist mind of view from this guy. He thinks because he provides a salary to somebody, then he thinks, oh, they should be loyal to him. And that's, not the case overall. If you even read the transcript from Big Swole, is that
I'm telling you, it's
she
the
was
big thing.
Yeah, it's the big, we love big things. I got a big ass forehead. You feel me? So anyway, so the Big Swole interview, if you actually looked in the transcript, she was very valid with her argument, especially the part where AEW had a lack of structure. And, as a fan, you can tell by watching the product that it feels very, improvised, like all professional wrestling. But Big Swole. And that was like, as a fan, that was very valid to me. And the other to me was she brought up like Asian representation, which I also feel that's extremely valid as well. Like if we're talking, including the Indian subcontinent as well. So she was very, very polite, like my man, what Phil said. And he just came out very reactionary, especially since if you go months ago, he was actually praising Big Swole. Like he was saying she was great wrestler, great this. It's like, it's almost as if like, I wonder how he feels about other wrestlers had they talk, in a constructive way or not about the company. And I wonder how he feels about that. So it's like, I don't know, man. F billionaires, I guess that's the point.
I think it's very interesting because we've seen Tony kind of be very reactionary when there's like negative comments on Twitter or negative stuff in the replies and quote tweets and all that stuff. I didn't think that would come over to his actual business, like actually coming at wrestlers that he once employed. And I don't know. I don't even know in what way that would make sense that he would say that she wasn't a good wrestler when he was the one who signed her. I don't understand how we like get away from that. Like he signed her and then said that she wasn't a good wrestler, but she was one of the first signings of his company.
So if I had to guess, and if I want to preface this by saying that this is not a defense of him at all. I think what he thinks he was doing is coming back and rebutting her point that it was a mutual release, because that's what we've heard from the beginning, that this was a mutual thing. They both decided that it was time to move on. And I think once she put out her take on the company, he then wanted to retract and say, hey, I'm not letting you have this. It wasn't mutual. By the way, I don't like your wrestling, and that's why you're not here anymore. Which is, it just comes off very petty. But I just think that was him trying to come back and say, all right, well, she can say what she wants, but she would probably be still here if she could wrestle better, which is just kind of like, okay.
Exactly. That goes into the like subjectivity of the question, which is completely like you're gonna get different answers and stuff. So like even then, that's has nothing to do with the argument itself. The argument is showcasing multiple talents from across diversity, and like you said on the Grapsody yesterday, that it's diversity is a broad kind of term. You feel me? So
yeah, and the reason why the "you're not good enough" thing bothered me so much when I saw it, and I talked about this on the pod. Like, it's just that just certain things that Black people have been told their entire lives, like. You gotta be a certain level to be considered where even like the most mediocre person from another race could be. And it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, it just, the way it came off was just kind of like, you didn't really need to do that. You could have easily came back and rebutted her whole criticism without mentioning what you think of her.
Scott asked, what's the point of exit interviews if you refuse to listen to the constructive criticism, which is valid, which is all that she really provided, which was constructive criticism.
Yeah, and see, an exit interview is something that is done internally. Like, even if your evaluation of her is that I don't think you've improved, that's something you tell her behind closed doors. That's not something you put out for the public to see.
Yeah, I think in that situation, the only thing that would have really solved that is if it was a private conversation that the two of them would have had, instead of making it public. And
yeah, and I was just gonna say, I know that people are gonna say, well, she made it public, that's why he came back and made it public, but that's not quite what happened. Like, her doing a podcast is different than him turning that into a this is why our professional relationship came to an end. Like, yeah, because I was just saying that that the two are not linked in that way. You can't just go, all right, well, this is him rebutting her point.
Yeah, and you guys even said on the pod that one of the things that AEW has, especially when it comes to the wrestlers, is goodwill. That once people leave WWE, they think, I'm going to AEW where it's a community, where it's a family, and they're going to accept me. And then that's how you like turn on somebody who was once a part of your family, which is very, very interesting and very disappointing. I'm also interested to see how they try to remedy the situation, or if they even try to at all. It's been like 3 days now, and the tweet is still so.
I feel like it's kind of like, this is kind of like learned behavior, I feel like, now from this guy. How many times has he spouted off to someone like this and then had someone reply for him? It's kind of like the instance with the one woman that did the press release, and he didn't answer her question, and kind of like, it was just a very uncomfortable situation. It felt uncomfortable for me, because it's like, well, that's great that you're paying people, but that's none of our business, and that's not even, the question was not asked at all. So now that shows me that, well, for one, you have no idea, you never thought of doing that. Your question is basically no. And on top of that, the woman, that's great that he talked to her, but like, she was the one who put it out there that, yeah, he talked to me and apologized, and then he never said anything. So I'm just, from now, I believe that this is just how this person is. He's shown it more than once.
Yeah,
I agree.
I would ask the question, do you guys think he needs to publicly apologize to her?
Absolutely.
I think that's Swole's decision to make.
Yeah, if he's done it, I just think he needs to apologize, to be honest.
Yeah, I do think he needs to apologize. Whether it needs to be public or private, I'm not quite sure on the answer to that, because I feel like even if he gives a public apology at this point, it doesn't quite fix it. And I feel like regardless of how he responds to it, people are just going to look at it like, okay, well, you're just responding because of the outrage to it. And it doesn't mean that you understand what you did was necessarily wrong. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I would rather see him, fix the problem and make adjustments going forward. Like, I do think he needs to apologize, but, platitudes can only go so far, right?
Also just deleting the tweet,
That's the first step.
Yeah.
Step number one.
So might be a first step. It might be a good one.
Yeah.
A good old tweet and delete, you feel me?
Yeah. I actually be really surprised if he deletes the tweet.
I don't think it's happening. I think it would have happened by now. I want to kind of wrap up this discussion. It's been so amazing to have you guys on. I want to hear any final comments you guys have, and I want to let you guys plug all your stuff, because that's one of the main things we want you guys to do, is to support Black creators in their work. Let's start with SP3. Oh.
No, let SP3 go, my bad.
No, I mean, my final thoughts is I didn't really get to address the Big E losing the championship.
Go for it.
Dude took like 7 moves. Like, he took like 7 moves in like a 9-minute match, and he lost the title. Like, I'm not even gonna tell you to compare him to like a white WWE champion. Compare him to the last black WWE champion. Compare how Bobby Lashley lost the WWE title to how Big E lost the WWE title. And basically, the message I got from WWE is you can only have one. You can only have one. You can't have both of them. You can finish their title run or have a good title run and look good. It's very disheartening. I mean, I understand the decision as far as what WWE is thinking, because I feel like it's very unhealthy living that a lot of fans do. It's you watching WWE with what you want to do. No, you're just going to disappoint yourself. Don't do that to yourself. Think of what WWE wants to do, and they want the Brock and Roman match to be as big as possible. So put the WWE title on Brock, do champion versus champion. I understand that. You had 3 other people to pin WWE. That's my issue. You could be both things. It could be the right decision for you, but the wrong decision in creating a new main eventer, because Big E did everything he was supposed to do in the ring, everything he was supposed to do outside the ring, and more. He was a company ambassador for the past 110 days. And they just ended it like that. And then after the match, they paid more attention to Bobby Lashley staring at Brock Lesnar than Big E right on the floor there got beat. So yes.
Didn't it remind you of them going straight to Cain Velasquez right afterwards?
Yes.
It's like, see you later, Kofi. Like, we already got a new challenger.
This is what I said. I was. They have history. It was right.
No, wait, let me just say, wasn't there a guy in this match that was losing the Happy Corbin like every week 2 months ago? I'm sorry, Kevin Owens. I know you just signed.
You just got paid a lot of money. You can take a pin.
$2 million deal. You lost to Happy Corbin like 2 months ago. That ain't wiped out of my memory. You can lose to Brock Lesnar. You can.
Madcap Moss. More like midcap Moss. You feel me?
So I do think that it's kind of weird. Like, as bad as I feel like it is to Big E, it's kind of worse to Seth, because Seth came in, he won the ladder match, and he was the guy that was the contender for the title. And then all of a sudden they put all these other people in the match, and then put Brock in last, and Brock's the one that won. He's not even on the brand. Seth is the guy that won a contenders match for this match, and he got nothing out of this whole thing.
They could have made a story out of Seth getting pinned if they really wanted to. They could have been like, he was the one that got placed in the match and he was the one that took the pin. It was right there. But I don't know where Big E even goes from here. And that's my issue, is I don't know what they're going to do with him now. Unless he wins the Royal Rumble and challenges Roman Reigns, which I highly doubt is happening.
It could be possible. I'm assuming that this is building to Bobby and Lesnar at Royal Rumble. I'm guessing. And I mean, hey, cool. I think one of the few cool things from the match is just how excited Bobby was, because he's wanted that match for so long. And it just felt like every time he saw Lesnar, like if you play 2K, like he was just hitting the target, like, no, I'm getting him. I'm about to put him straight through this barricade.
Yeah.
It was like on site. Every
on
time
site.
He saw Brock Lesnar, it was on site. So yeah, they did do a good job of setting that up as Brock Lesnar's first challenger. I think the best case scenario, if you do want Big E to, be involved somehow, is night 1, they do a WWE Universal Championship match. Big E can win the Royal Rumble and versus Roman Reigns. Someone can win the Elimination Chamber and versus Brock Lesnar. But night 2 is going to end with Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I mean, that's what it's going to be at this point. So I just don't understand how they have someone that has all the everything you would want in a main event player like Big E, and they just let it slip through their fingers. So yeah, like my title says, wrestling hates black people. Maybe I'll change it when eventually wrestling lets go of that hate towards us. But for now, that's how they feel. So you can find me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. You can see my written work on sportskita.com, WrestleTalk.com, and you can see me on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Every daily content over there. We just did our top 10 wrestlers of 2021 and a review for day 1 today. And you can see me on Sportskita Wrestling YouTube channel as well. I want to thank you guys for having me. This is an important discussion, and I hope we can get more of this going on. You guys have created a platform for this, so I am very happy to be a part of this episode here, this podcast, because you're doing great work here.
Thank you for being on. Omar, I know you wanted to, yep.
No, I was going to say, regarding the Brock and Big E thing, all I can say is I got to respect Big E because he was on the Breakfast Club interview and he stood against DJ Envy and Charlemagne for like an hour. So if he could do that, that's an inspiration. I appreciate him. You can find me on Twitter at Irma the Player Guy. I do writing for Playout Wrestling Post, Playout Wrestling Podcast.blogspot.com. Goddamn, I need a goddamn domain name. I did the day 1 review, day number uno. I did the review for that as well. So you can just follow it's on the Irma the Player Guy. Yeah, exactly. And, Phil, SP3 has been great, man. I want to collaborate with both of you guys. Also, you guys as well. I want to collaborate with more people. That's what I want to do in 2022 and hopefully beyond, God willing. So, good stuff is going to happen to everyone.
Yes, thank you. Spice, let's hear what you got going on. You're an amazing woman.
Yeah, I'm Spice. I am a wrestler in training / I guess promoter. I did Black Girl Magic in 2021. You can watch that on IWTV. It was great. Every woman on the show is a Black woman. And yeah, you can follow me at Spice Spiegel on Twitter, Instagram. Also, I would like to state that, I would love for WWE and AEW to, change. But the only way we're going to make them change is to, hit their pockets. So we should definitely support, other avenues that are giving us the diversity and things that we like. Because if they see, hey, that's making money, they're going to do it too.
Yep. Phil, everybody on here probably knows you by now, but let's hear all the stuff you got going on.
Of course, my Twitter handle is @PhilDO616. But don't follow me because I don't need your follows. I just want to throw that homage to Big E because that's how we used to end every episode of the New Day Pod. Rest in peace to the New Day Pod. That was a great podcast, by the way.
Wait. It ended? The podcast ended?
Yeah, it's gone.
Oh my God.
No more. Xavier said that when asked about it, so it sounds like it's gone.
That sucks. I love, especially their Q&A stuff. They would give some of the best advices, life advices, wrestling advices in general. So that really, really sucks.
I still think they have that legendary episode where they talk about all of the names that they were going to get before they landed on New Day. Yeah. Such a good segment. But yeah, I don't need your follows. I'm just going to throw that out there because that's what Big E would tell you. But of course, you can find me on Bleach Report. You can find most of my writing there. You can find some of my writing at Daily DDT. There's probably other sites somewhere that have my name on it. I don't know. But you also can find me on the Grapsity Pod on Saturdays at noon Eastern. That's me. That's Righteous Reg. That's Will Washington. And I think that's it.
Perfect. Thank you guys all so much for being on here. It really means a lot. I asked you guys pretty last minute. So I asked you yesterday. I was like, can you guys do this show with me? So thank you so much for being on here. Make sure to check out all of their work. We're going to transition out of this because we got a Jaychele Nicole interview for you guys to watch. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Thank you guys so much for being on here. I hope you guys all have a great day. Let me get this interview up and running for y'all.
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay, let's get this interview up. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Hello, guys, and welcome to a super special interview. We are so excited. We have a special guest, Jaychele Nicole. How are you doing? How are you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm feeling good. How about you?
Oh, so good. So excited to have you on. I think we should start with our regular speed round here. 10 questions, as much or as little detail as you're comfortable giving. The first question is, what was a surprisingly good movie?
Ooh, a surprisingly good movie. Oh my gosh. What was the last movie I even watched? That's what
we can answer that question then. We can do the last movie you watched instead then, if you can remember that one.
Okay. So the last movie I watched, it was some kind of horror movie on Netflix. I forgot what exactly it was, but it was one of those movies where like the family moves into the house and the house is like haunted. It was like one of those movies.
Mm-hmm.
But usually for those type of movies, I expect it to be very low budget and really bad. But this one was actually pretty good. But if I find out what the title is, I'll let you know.
Okay, so that answers the question. It's a movie on Netflix where they move into the house. Surprisingly good movie. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a good driver?
I like to think I am, definitely. I make sure I still follow the rules and be careful. Like, I don't even like going over, like, 10 over the speed limit. Like, I like to keep it, I at least go over, like, 2 over the speed limit. But, like, I don't go any further than that.
Okay.
And usually when I, like, drive, like, to shows, I usually think too much about how somebody drives. So that I'm also that person, too, that like gets a little anxious. So yeah, I like to think I'm a good driver.
Yeah. Do you have road rage?
No, I don't have road rage actually. Okay. Yeah.
I have really bad road rage. I've had my license for like 6 months and it's like I'm a horn honker. It's bad.
You already do it.
I think I learned from my mom. I think it got passed down to me. Genetics. Mm-hmm. What was the craziest thing you did as a kid?
Craziest thing I did as a kid,
or one of your craziest memories anyway?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think, okay, so a lot of times, like when I'm with my family, they always tell me this story. They always like to remind me that when I was little, since I was in Taekwondo, I always kicked them. Like, just cause I would just kick them really hard. It was like my grandma, my aunt, and my sister, especially my sister, because she was like my sparring partner at home. Like, if I needed to practice, I would use her to practice.
Oh my God, your family must not have been happy with that at all.
No, but they do love to bring it up though.
Okay. That's fair. I think for all the punishment they went through, they're allowed to bring it up sometimes.
Yeah.
Would you ever go bungee jumping or rock climbing?
Rock climbing. I used to go rock climbing all the time with my dad when I was little.
Heights scare me. We used to do like rock climbing in gym class, and I was not the one for that.
Oh no.
No, yes. Me and sports are not too good of friends. Would you rather time travel to the past or to the future?
Oof. I'd rather travel to the past, to be honest.
Very interesting choice. I feel like either way, you got to deal with like the butterfly effect of like changing past events or like changing future events. Is that the butterfly effect? Kylie's looking at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah. To me though, because right now the future just kind of looks not the best idea to go to right now, considering the fact of everything that's just been going on. It's kind of scary. Yeah. So I like to go back to the past and just kind of be in that moment where like you weren't really worried about the government and like what's going on in the world. Like everyone was chilling. Yeah.
Travel to the known rather than the unknown.
Yeah, exactly.
What is your favorite sweet treat? Or this could be like your favorite cheat day meal too.
Well, for a sweet treat, I love Sour Patch Kids a lot. I always grab those.
I have these.
No
I
way.
just ate this whole pack yesterday. I kept it at my desk. Yeah.
Like I just bought these sour from the store. Like, oh my gosh, I love them so much. But yes, even if I go to the movies or anything, I grab Sour Patch Kids.
Yes. One time I ordered this on Amazon. I got those big bags. You know, they have the big bags of like Swedish fish and Sour Patch watermelon. I got the mango Sour Patch ones and they rocked my world. I've never seen them before.
Oh my god.
I would need to get it again.
I need to try that.
I need to get the big bag. That's my
yes. Highly recommend. What do you miss the most right now?
Oh, what do I miss the most? That's a good question. All these good questions, man. I haven't even been thinking about, but I guess what I miss the most is okay. So I'm at the gym that I work at. Like I do personal training and stuff. But I kind of miss being back at like the dojo, like the karate dojo, being like with everybody and doing like team stuff. Because here I'm training martial arts, but like I guess I still sort of miss being at a dojo where I was actually training as a student and being with my team, and we're just going to different tournaments and performing and competing. That's what I miss.
This is one thing I was waiting to share until you brought this up. I did karate from when I was like 5 to like 12 years old. I got all the way up to the blue belt, and that was like my biggest accomplishment. So I just wanted to share that. I haven't done any martial arts in a long time, but I remember my karate experience. How well did you do in school?
I did fairly well. I was an average student. I was like BC mainly, and then like usually my A was from like art class or something because I was really good at art.
Very interesting. I think a lot of wrestlers are very creative, so that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What TV show is your guilty pleasure?
Cobra Kai.
Very fair.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah. I'm excited for New Year's Day when it comes out, new season.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's my guilty pleasure right there.
If this is the last question, actually, if you could travel to any country in the world, where would you go? Right now, no plane ticket, no cost of the plane ticket. Go wherever you want.
Japan.
Very, very fair answer. We always get that answer when we ask this question. We asked the same question to
Japan
Anthony
is
Henry.
awesome.
It was Japan,
if you don't say Japan, then you probably already been there, or you're just not thinking because Japan is it.
Yes, yeah. Kylie, do you want to go with the first question? I always suck at the pointing thing.
Yeah, so you recently made your Ring of Honor debut. What was it like being in a locker room that had such a depth and variety of talent?
Oh my gosh, it was crazy. If you ask any of the girls that are there, you can ask them like, how nervous was Janai? And they will say she was really, really nervous. I was mainly really nervous because of the fact that all of the talent that was back there, like there's some that I just studied. And then just thinking about the fact that the people that have been there before in the past, they're like super duper stars. Like it's crazy to see them, how much they've built up. And so, yeah, just being there was so surreal overall.
That's so amazing. You had an amazing match, and I was so excited to see you over there. How did it feel going over there knowing that ROH was heading into a hiatus? If they do come back, would you be interested in continuing to work over there?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I know like the hiatus, everything's just really confusing, and it was kind of weird for me to be there during that time because it was legit the week after it was announced. So yeah, if they were, with the whole hiatus and then possibly something happening in April, like I'm definitely down to see what's going on and be there again. Definitely.
That's great to hear. I could tell you, at least I bet other girls would love to see you back there as well. Haley, do you have the next question?
I do, and this is a great segue, actually, since we're talking about debuts. You've also debuted against Jade Cargo on Rampage, and I feel like a lot of people praise AEW for the way that they cater to and take care of the wrestlers, especially backstage. So I was wondering what it was like working in such a high-pressure environment, especially since, you know, AEW is like a national broadcast.
Yeah, it was a crazy experience because it was a very last minute thing that happened. Like, for example, like today's Monday. I got the call today to go in tomorrow. It was that last minute.
Oh, wow.
So, like, I was just laying in bed when I got the call. I was like, what? Like, okay, I guess I got to get ready then to go. But, yeah, so the whole mindset for me when I was there was just like, all right, I need to be professional. I need to be calm. Like, it could be very, like, you know, intense. But I don't know. For some reason, I was just very comfortable. I think it was because of the locker room and how it was. There were people back there that I've seen in these shows the past few weeks. Because of the fact I can still work indie shows. So that was cool. That's why it kind of made it more comfortable. But also just being in the ring, because that's the one thing I was thinking about. Like, I wonder how it's going to be with that many people in that ring. Like, is it going to actually hit me when I'm there? And when I was in the ring, it actually didn't feel that intense. I actually feel very comfortable. And like, I would take a moment and look out at the audience, and then I realized, I'm like, oh, okay, it's chill. Like, everyone seems very welcoming. So overall, it was just a good experience.
That's really good to hear. Whenever we talk to people who have worked some type of like AEW taping, they always have like a positive story to share. And that's what seems to be like the trend throughout the people who have worked there. So I'm really glad to hear that you had such a positive experience. Kylie, I think you had another question, right?
Yeah, so one of the indies that we don't hear a lot about is Shimmer. So I'm curious, what was your experience like there? And what do you think sets Shimmer apart from other indie promotions?
Yeah, good question. So for Shimmer, like, I've been wanting to wrestle for Shimmer, and it was an awesome experience because of the fact of the history of it. And you know, Shimmer is like all women's wrestling. This is like women from, like, let's say, who's a good example? Nikki Cross. She was on Shimmer. Like, so many people that you wouldn't even think, like Dakota Kai, she was on Shimmer. Like, they were all there. So the fact that I'm on this same platform as where they were was crazy to me. And I wrestled Nicole Savoy, who was Shimmer champion. And now she's like my new tag partner, which is awesome too. But it was cool to wrestle her and then also tag with her the same day on the second show. But I overall enjoyed it. Like, the support system there is crazy, and I would love to go back again, that's for sure. If there is any show coming up, maybe for Mania or anything, I'd definitely love to go back.
Yeah, we would love to see that. I want to ask about a show that is coming up that I'm going to be at, Terminus. I'm so excited for this event. I want to get your take on how you're feeling heading into this event. You're on their there could be more to come. We don't know. Everything's up in the air, of course. But I want to see how you're feeling heading into this event, all of the momentum that it's gained, everything like that. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pumped because of the fact that, like, the vibe that I'm getting off of it is like, these are all people that love to, like, wrestle, go hard, gritty type deal. So that's kind of how I am. And so I'm literally just trying to picture how it's going to look too. Like, how is this whole arena going to look? Like, what's going to be going on? So I'm kind of in the same boat as you, as to, like, thinking, like, all right, how's this going to be? Like, I'm excited to be there too. Like, I'm excited to be there for the first time too. So I if anything, I'm always training and getting ready and switching it up a little bit. That's my main goal too for 2022, switching it up and going harder. So I'm excited.
I'm so excited too. Hopefully I get to meet you in the meet and greet. If you see a crying girl there, just know that it's me. The whole experience is just gonna have me crying. When I see Daniel Garcia, I'm gonna faint on the floor. I'm already prepared for all this stuff. Haley, I think you have another question. Enough about me crying.
So you talked about this a little bit earlier, but you have a background in Taekwondo and Muay Thai and kickboxing, and we didn't really get to see much of this on your AEW debut. So if you were to go back, is that something that you would like to show off more?
Oh, most definitely. I'm gonna be really, really ready to show that off because of the fact that I wasn't able to last time. So you'll get that if I ever go back. You'll get
we're gonna start a campaign.
Oh yeah. What is it called? The petitions, like the petition.com, change.org. We'll start a change.org petition. Yeah. We see some wrestlers kind of make their debut on Dark, actually, as opposed to Rampage.
Yeah.
What was that like for you? Were you expecting to get a call for like Dark or something like that to be brought onto AEW, or were you like just excited to go on straight onto Rampage and straight onto TV?
Yeah, so that's a crazy thing. Like I thought maybe Dark or Elevation, but they told me over the phone that it was Rampage. And so I was like, oh, okay. And so I told my friends, and they're like, oh, Rampage, that's on TV. That's not even like on YouTube. I'm like, oh, okay. Because like I kind of knew, like kind of didn't. I was like, wait, okay, this is gonna be on TV. That's crazy. Okay, cool. So yeah, I didn't expect that, but again, overall, it was a good experience, and knowing that it was on TV was cool because I let my family know and everything. I'm like, hey, you can actually watch it on TV. Like, you don't have to go on YouTube or anything, or search the YouTube channel. Like, pop this channel on, you'll see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really cool. Yeah.
Kylie, do you have? Oh God, this is just getting worse. Kylie, do you have another question?
Yeah. So I am the biggest GCW fan in the world, and I saw you at Art of War Games, and I was blown away. So, are we going to see you in GCW again? And who's your dream GCW opponent?
Ooh, good question. Oh, okay. So, possibly. I am going to Atlantic City for New Year's. So, my match has been announced for JCW. It's going to be me and Yoya as Yokai versus the Goons. So I don't know. We'll see if I'm gonna be on those GCW shows for sure. I'll be there. I'll be ready. So if they need me, I'll pop in. But for a GCW Dream Match, okay. So for tag Yokai versus Bussy.
Yeah, Kylie's the biggest Bussy fan. Oh my God.
That needs to happen.
I agree.
We can tag Effie. I'll tag Effie. I'll clip this. We'll tag Effie and we'll make it happen. Effie loves us. So
yes.
Okay, awesome. Perfect.
Yes.
I think for singles, singles. Ninja Mac.
Yes, that would be so good.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, because you faced my bestie in GCW, Billy Starks. Okay, you guys have had 5 matches to my knowledge, right? So how has your chemistry grown every single time that you're having a match with her? And she's also super young as well. So what is that like to work with somebody young as well?
Oh my gosh. Billy is so smart. Like, it's crazy how smart Billy is, because every time I do wrestle her, she always has like new ideas of some sort. And usually for me, I'm not the first one really to pop up with ideas, but she straight off like the bat had ideas. And just talking to her is very calm. Like, it's like a good experience. Like, I don't feel stressed out or anything. So yeah, she's just really grown for her age overall. Oh my gosh. And then she talks about how she does her homework, like in between like shows and whatnot. That's crazy. I don't even know how I would do that. So yeah, I love working with Billy, and I would love to, of course, work with Billy again in 2022.
We love Billy over here. Me and her are besties. She doesn't know that we're besties, but we're besties in my mind. And that's what matters. Haley, do you have another question?
I do. Speaking of dream opponents, I'm also a huge AEW fan. I'm sure that's obvious. All my questions are about AEW. But, so should you get the call to come back, what is a match that you would like to have? Like, who's your dream opponent there? Because I feel like there's a really good women's division over there that you could help build.
Yeah. Shoot, I would love to wrestle Hikaru Shida. That's for sure.
Oh
I
yes.
remember you look at that. I love her.
That's when I feel like if I wrestle Shida, that's when it's actually gonna hit me. Like hit me. Like, okay, this is big time. You know, like this is where like, okay, AEW, like this is when I actually get more nervous too. So yeah, Shida for sure.
I have an idea. Okay, so we saw your match with Thunder Rosa in Mission Pro. Would you be interested on taking that to a big stage like AEW and having a full flesh feud over there with her?
Oh yeah, for sure. I was sharing this in another interview where they asked me like who would I love to feud with, and I said Rosa. So we'll love to feud with Rosa for sure. Have round 2 for sure. Because like our first match at Mission Pro, I loved it to death because I already knew she goes hard. So I was like, hell yeah, let's go. So we'll love to do it again.
Yeah. I would love to see it again. I would love to see it on a big stage like that and get you all the exposure from that match as well. Kylie, do you have another question? I don't know if you're all out.
Nope. I asked my 3.
Haley, you asked your 3?
Yeah.
I asked my 3. Okay. Do you have anything you want to say that you didn't get the chance to say? Anything to fans, upcoming opponents, anything like that?
Let's see. Okay, look out for 2022 because I again am switching it up a little bit. I'm just gonna go harder, man. Like this is like I already got a little bit of a taste like how bigger platforms are at the end of this year, like with Ring of Honor and AEW. So I'm ready to go in even more and reach those other bigger platforms and then possibly come back to AEW and everything. So I'm ready for it. I'm ready to go.
That's so exciting to hear. Yes, we're rooting for you. We're manifesting everything for you. I want to give you the chance to plug anything, like any upcoming shows, social medias, all that good stuff.
Okay. For shows, GCW weekend, Atlantic City for New Year's. I'll be there. Terminus, I'll be there 16th, January 16th. What else do I have coming up? I know that I have other dates coming up. I don't know if those shows have been announced, but just follow me on Instagram and Twitter, Janai_Kai, and you'll see all the updates and announcements there.
That's so amazing. Thank you so much. Kylie, I'm going to give you the plug now.
Yes, you can follow me on Twitter at Fuller_Kylie. You can read my work on bodyslam.net. You can find me on the GCW post show. We review every GCW show. And there's some other interviews and shows coming up soon.
Yes. Haley, let's hear your plug skills.
So you can find me on Twitter at HaleyAnn. The I is the L because the L was taken. You can also find me on Body Slam writing and Nerds and Beyond. I'm the lead wrestling writer there. So yeah.
All great stuff. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Jaychele Nicole. Of course, I'm writing and editing on Body Slam, bodyslam.net in your browser. You can check Body Slam out on all social media platforms, BodySlamNet. That's Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Subscribe, follow, do whatever you got to do over there. Thank you guys so much for checking out this ADHDivas exclusive interview. We were so excited to get to talk to you tonight. We are so excited for everything you have coming up. We're 100% in your corner. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this. We hope you guys enjoyed this interview and you have a great day. Peace out, y'all. And we're back. Oh, we're back. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. Oh my God, I was so proud of that. Oh, let's reorganize us. Sorry, 1 second, y'all. You know, we got the low production value over here, baby. That's how we're doing it. At least I'm honest. Okay, let's get to what we had people vote on this week. We had 85 votes on this goddamn award thing that we announced 2 days beforehand because, you know, we suck at organizing stuff.
Literally on the last day of December.
Dude, literally it's in our name, ADHDivas. We were like, we're gonna close it at 12. Mind you, we did not send a message out for people to vote before that. Haley, did you eat more onions during the interview?
No.
If she did, it would have been on camera. It would have been on camera. We would have made it good on camera.
With my face on it.
Whoa! Don't you give us ideas.
Listen, I'm a draw now. Look.
Hold on.
My head's getting too big.
I'm the draw. Let's get this right. Okay.
Jaychele.
Miss Girl.
We can all be draws.
Haley's famous. Didn't you know that?
Haley, who do you have interviews with?
Haley, tell us how famous you are.
All my celebrity interviews from my other job, because I will.
Tell us who follows you too.
I told you everybody that followed me on my other Twitter, but that's old news. So.
Okay, maybe we should just get into the awards. Okay. Okay, please. Okay, which one should we do first? First, actually, let us describe the way that we did this voting.
Okay.
They want more onion. Also, my boyfriend has arrived in the chat, so
Finally.
Dylan, I'm sorry.
Hi, Dylan.
Hi, Dylan.
Reg and beans and Haley and onions. Yes, yes, yes.
This is your thing now.
Haley, you got a gimmick.
Onion
Onion girl. Yes. Okay. Wow, this is getting real bad. Let's start with Breakout Star of the Year. Is that okay for you guys? Is that a good place to start? So, oh God, in this we had all the Breakout Stars, a women's only wrestling award show, of course. Horrible award show because I forgot to write down who was nominated. So we're just gonna say who won, and that's fair. So the way we split this up was we each have 25% of a vote, and then the fans, people who voted, also have 25% as well. So as we share our awards, I'm going to share who voted for what. Okay. So I might expose you guys, or I might expose myself.
It's okay. I got beef with all these viewers.
Same.
Why do you have beef?
Because I'm sitting here doing critical thinking, filling out my awards, and everyone's like, Britt Baker for everything. I got beef.
Okay, let's do the first Breakout Star. And we all actually voted for different people. So,
us three?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And only one of us agreed with the fans. So I'm just gonna. Can we get a drum roll? Can somebody do a drum roll? Jade Cargill is the 2021 Breakout Star.
Wow.
It was definitely Haley. I voted for Liv Morgan. Kylie, who did you vote for?
Ty Conti.
And
all great choices.
The fans voted for Jade. So you sided with Haley, and Jade is the Breakout Star of the Year. Let's look at somebody who does. Well, one of the categories that involves Ty Conti. We have Best Tag Team in Faction. And our winner, actually, we all have different choices here as well, is Ty J. Haley also chose fans. Goddamn. Who did you choose, Kylie?
I chose the Inspiration because I am loyal.
Okay. I chose somebody who wasn't even on the list. I chose Sasha and Bianca. I know they weren't together for very long. I remembered it and I loved it and I want to see it for realsies, so I chose it.
I love that.
Let's do promo of the year so we can get this lady out of the rest of our award ceremony. I'm pissed. I'm still so pissed, but this was fair. This was a unanimous vote for promo of the year. And we have Ruby Soho and Dr. Britt Baker in their promos leading up to Arthur Ashe, which I think is fair. Amazing promos. They did great work together. Superstars over there. Let's see what we got going on in the comments. Somebody would pick the Inspiration as well.
Did you vote? Because if you didn't vote and you didn't vote for them, then got beef with you too.
Oh, got beef with everybody. Let's do promotion of the year next. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. 2 of us agreed in this, and 2 of us agreed with the fans. Promotion of the year, Impact Wrestling. I voted for Impact Wrestling. Haley voted for Impact Wrestling. Kylie did not vote for Impact Wrestling.
Did not. I voted for Mission Pro.
Which is very fair. Very, very fair. I chose Impact because Tasha Steelz is there.
Oh.
You know I love Tasha and Jordan.
Okay, that's fair.
And the Inspiration's there. You were coming at me for being loyal.
Okay.
Broader conversation to be had.
Okay, Mission Pro was just leaps and bounds above every other promotion.
Oh, TNA, baby. Kylie's a TNA fan too, so.
I am a TNA fan. I'm also a Mission Pro fan.
Fair. Okay. We're just going to do the moment in the match of the year, one after the other. Because if you didn't vote for this, you're a sucker. And I'm. Stop. I was going to keep it. I was not going to break, and you broke me. Stop. Your face broke me. Jesus Christ. I'm so disappointed in the fans for this one. Let's do moment of the year first and get this out of the way. I'm not disappointed. All great moments. My moment of the year. Kylie's moment of the year. Haley's moment of the year. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania 37. I thought this was an obvious dunk. That's not a dunk. That's a basket. Fuck it. I'm not the basketball star. But the fans chose NWA Empower here, which I thought was very interesting. Because how many of y'all bought that show? Not the fans, Kylie. I bought it too. So, the fans. I did too.
It was a good show.
Okay, we all bought the show. Fair. Match of the year. Let's fucking do it. Let's fucking do it. Sasha versus Bianca. If you don't agree, we can fight. I take my Bianca Belair very seriously. If I would get one tattoo in my whole life, I would get a Bianca Belair tattoo. I love Bianca Belair. I love Sasha Banks. I love black women.
Should we make you get a tattoo and put it on the show?
Hold on. Hold on. Pause. We're not doing that. No. Unless one of y'all is paying for the tattoo and you're going to find a tattoo artist that's going to let me use numbing cream.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
I don't do the needles.
I still got one.
Haley, you have a tattoo?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Me too.
Love that.
We should just do a segment where Jaychele just becomes the third wheel in all the fucking segments.
We're so mean.
Fuck. Wrestler of the year. Who do you guys think it is?
Bianca.
Yeah, I mean
Bianca. The fans did not choose Bianca, nor did they choose Bianca for the match of the year. The match of the year that the fans chose was Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker, which is cool. And the fans chose Britt Baker, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in my opinion, Britt Baker's title run has been a bit lackluster just because she hasn't had a lot of matches. It's all promo and backstage segments.
Not Booker T. I cannot be compared to Booker T. Oh, God.
That's just who you are now. Haley's
Can you say that on air? Can you say that on air?
I mean, I already did.
Can you compare me to Booker T on air without... Oh, God. Is it because I have braids? Or is it because I'm black?
No.
My takes aren't that bad.
The stress in Kylie's
You have
voice.
some hot takes, Jaychele.
I don't have Booker T takes.
Do you actually like Booker T?
I hate Booker T.
Okay.
Don't call me Booker T. I'm gonna cry.
Okay.
Bianca is not defined by the 27 seconds. In my mind, that did not happen. In my black woman universe, that is not a moment that happened. I got trauma. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. Can we bring on our guest now? He's sitting
Yes,
next to me. I'm so excited. Oh my God. Okay.
Bring him on.
Do we need to explain this or we just bring him on? Okay. Hi, Dan.
I hate all of you. Everyone here.
We say nothing but love you and support you. And the first thing you say on our show is that you hate us.
The disrespect.
What am I doing here?
That was so mean. That was the meanest. No, pause. Okay. Dan is our social media guy. He does all of our body slam memes. And I was like, we got to bring Dan on because Dan and Haley are best of friends. Bestest of friends. Stop it. Besties. Bigger besties than me and AJ Gray. Bigger besties than me and Billy Starks. This is not my catchphrase. Y'all better leave me alone. when it comes to Booker T. I swear to God, I will have a Booker T rant on Twitter, and it will not be a good thing. Let's move on. Let's talk about NXT. Dan is going to be on an NXT post show starting this week. How excited are you for that? Do you like NXT?
I actually don't hate this NXT as much as everyone else does.
Okay, why? Carmelo Hayes. Hayes.
I mean, that's
Carmelo
an obvious one. Braun is also awesome, but you just got to take it for what it is. It's like a wrestling acid trip. You don't know what's gonna happen. They go really fast.
Great comparison.
And you just let it fly and see what happens.
If you don't stop this, Cassidy, I'm gonna walk out on Body Slam right now. I swear to God, I will do it on air.
That's the exclusive.
Okay, let's talk about the card that we have for the show. And we're gonna start with my favorite man. I apologize to my boyfriend, but he is my husband. Huh?
I said I wonder who that could be.
Two guesses.
I don't know. He follows me on Twitter. I don't know.
Flex.
Oh God, this show is just evolving quickly. Okay, we have Carmelo Hayes versus Roderick Strong for a unification match. So they're trying to unify the North American and Cruiserweight titles. Let's go through predictions and how you guys are feeling. Kylie, who do you think is going to win this match? There's only one right answer here.
I think Carmelo Hayes.
Okay.
I think Carmelo Hayes.
I'm treading very carefully after my Booker T comment. I am
you
good side. I am not rocking the boat.
Oh God, can you do a spinneroonie?
No, I would die. I feel like my body would just fall apart.
I used to be a hip hop dancer, just so we know
Do
that.
a spinneroonie.
Give us a dance.
I'll show you my pants. My pants say that I'm the GOAT. Better than Becky Lynch. Dance rhymed with pants. I want to show my pants. Haley, what do you got?
I mean, I would just like to brag that I predicted that this match was going to happen this exact way on RSC Booking Friday.
On my show.
Episode. It's not out yet, but it will be.
It'll be out real soon.
Yeah, I predicted that this was going to happen, and I'm also going with Carmelo Hayes because that's the only right answer.
Okay. Oh, do you want this?
Yes.
I'm a TikToker. This isn't torture though. This is funny. This is real life. Like I will actually do this.
Can we pick which? You have to do a TikTok dance.
I'll let you guys pick it.
Pick it.
I'll let you pick it.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Dan, who do you have?
This match shouldn't be happening in the first place because this should have been Joe Gacy's title. If we're gonna speak honestly here. Well, yes, but also because he was on such a roll, and then they had him, taking the cruiserweight stuff away, and he was going to be the all-inclusive guy, and he had Harlan with him, and they should have just strapped him with the belt, and he could have got fed all these people because he's not inclusive, and he could have just beat everybody, and he could have had his little monster Frankenstein right there next to him, and he could have had some gold. And he could have redid the title, been the first new title on the 2.0. I don't know. That's what I think.
Who do you have for the match? Who do you have for the match?
I mean, it's going to be Melo.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as I don't have to fight nobody on this first show, we've accomplished something. Okay. I go to war for Black people, specifically Carmelo Hayes. You see how attractive that man is? He was on my power rankings list. That man will forever. I'm not going to say something that's going to get me in trouble anymore. I learned that yesterday. That was a bad show last night. Don't go watch that show. Reverse psychology. Oh God, reverse psychology. Tommaso Ciampa versus Braun Breakers for the NXT title. Do you think this is where they're giving the title to Braun finally?
Yes.
I
think if they don't, then NXT 2.0 and its whole mission and point is pointless.
Yeah.
If he doesn't win it here.
But then what happens to Ciampa after?
Does Shawn Michaels get to be my father-in-law?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Sorry, continue.
I don't think it really matters what happens to Ciampa. He could stay in NXT. He could go to the main roster. I don't think. I think long term, I don't think WWE is going to be invested in him, and this is their chance to take the fan base and sort of the power that he's established, the momentum he has in NXT, and give it to someone that WWE would invest in, like Braun Breaker, which is the whole entire point of NXT 2.0. As, you know, the last sort of pillars of NXT, you know, black and gold fall. I mean, who better to be the new face of NXT 2.0, your first big success of the rebrand than Braun Breaker?
Thatcher's working backstage. He's like Samoa Joe right now. He's a coach.
No, I love Braun. I think he's believable. It's simple. They're not trying to do too much with him. Hopefully Vince doesn't get his hands too far in the cookie jar there.
You know he's winning the Universal title.
Who, Braun?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
He's getting it from Roman real soon. Give him
They're probably going to hot shot him into a Royal Rumble or a Money in the Bank, and that'll be his debut, and then he'll win the title.
I mean, what they really should do is redo the Kevin Owens storyline where Braun comes up with the NXT title, drops Roman, and then challenges him like that. But do it the right way instead of what they did with Kevin Owens.
That would be good. I agree.
Booked this, Dan. That's how I know you listen to my shit.
I think we both talked about that.
Let's talk about Grayson Waller. I was on a podcast with Joe Hopper, and he told me that he liked Grayson Waller. Do you guys like Grayson?
No.
I like him more now.
I am neutral on Grayson.
Huh?
I'm neutral.
Neutral? Fair.
Yeah.
I like him more than I did.
So Dan likes Grayson Waller.
So can we kick him out?
He's actually gonna leave.
No.
No, he will.
I think
I'm
gonna make some memes now. I can make memes too with Dan kissing Grayson Waller.
Yes.
Sounds great. I think we should do it.
No comment.
You would like it.
Okay, that's an approval. Sounds great. Okay, so AJ Styles is gonna confront Grayson Waller. What do you think is gonna happen? Do you think they're eventually actually gonna have a match?
Well, this is the week. Yeah.
I mean, they could. I think it's kind of pointless, but I guess it could happen.
We got Riddle coming down this week too.
Hold on, I gotta find it. I gotta find the thing.
Who gives a fuck?
That's it. Who cares?
It doesn't make sense to me. I thought AJ is supposed to be feuding with Omos, but he's doing this too. So cool, I guess. Sorta. Let's talk about Blackie Rose. I want to talk about her because she looks like she's white again when she's in the pool because she can't put spray tan on. She's blackfishing. Problem?
No problem.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Mandy Rose is taking on Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez. I only support one of the people in this match, and that's Cora Jade. I hope she wins. Lord, please let there be a God for the NXT Women's title. Who do you guys have?
I have Mandy. Okay, I have a reason. I think Raquel is getting called up. I don't
give a fuck when she gets called.
I think she's at a point where there's nothing for her in NXT. I don't think the fans of NXT like her very much.
I don't think fans anywhere like her very much.
I think they're over it. And so main roster, she'd be good on the main roster if she got, the time and attention, and the main roster needs women. So who better than someone who's established like her? Cora Jade is great, but I don't think
Hold on.
She got, the time and attention. And
why are you here?
So who better than someone who's established like her?
I don't know. I was bored.
Okay.
Cora Jade is great.
Okay. Hold on. Bye, Cassidy, I guess. Okay. Run in.
Hello, Cassidy.
Hi and bye. Oh, God. Kylie, I'm sorry to cut you off. I saw the man down there and I had to put him on the street just because.
I thought he had something to say, but he just was bored, I guess.
No. This is how it goes. Dan, who do you think's going to win? Choose your words wisely.
Ooh. I think we get Mandy's last retain this week. It's going to be a close call, hopefully setting up Cora to take it next time in a singles match.
It's fair. That I can handle that. If Cora is not the next champion, Cora or Dakota Kai. I can take Dakota Kai also.
I love Dakota.
You love Britt Baker too, don't you?
I do. I wasn't going to say anything because I didn't want to get swarmed, but
you're going to anyway.
That's how I was going to introduce you, but I forgot because my brain doesn't hold things very easily.
The resident DMD stan? Yes, that's me.
I don't like her. Haley?
Yeah. Heat.
I mean, Cora.
Don't say that. I'll have to pull up the graphics.
Nothing.
Do it.
Just 1 second. Hold, please. Oh, it's funny. It's Adam Cole, too. Ha ha ha. He be eating her up in pictures. That's all I have to say. Haley?
I said Cora.
No, nothing else?
No, I want her to win. Like, I don't have anything else to say. That's that. That's all I have to say.
No other thoughts. That's very fair. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. The last match, I don't understand this. But Riddle is best friends with MSK. I don't know how. But he's teaming up with them to take on Walter and Fabian Aichner and the other guy. What's his name? Sorry, Fabian Eichner's the good one. I don't. You saw what Flipsy was doing? What's his name? Google.
You should just call them Imperium, and then we wouldn't be in
It would have been very
situation.
simple.
I was going to, but I wanted to make sure people know that Walter was involved.
Well, Imperium is winning, so.
Marcel Bartel.
Yeah, I think Imperium's the logical choice here. I don't know why all these people from the main roster are just popping in for cameos in NXT.
Because they need views.
In case of emergency. Vince hitting the button.
Well, I don't like it. And so I'm picking Imperium. I think Imperium is the logical choice. I think people like Imperium. I think people are excited to have Walter in the US. I don't know if he's going to be here forever.
I hope MSK gets called up.
MSK.
They should have rode the scooters up to the main roster with Riddle when they pulled the scooters out of the bag. It was very simple. It was right there.
My only concern with them getting called up is one, that they're small and their style is not Vince McMahon approved, and two, they're a tag team, and that is already not Vince McMahon approved.
And one of them is a black man.
And I don't want them to just be paired with Riddle and be like background guys for Riddle. Riddle's
And
great.
one of them is a black man.
Yeah. Riddle's great, but he does not need backup people, and MSK needs to be their own thing. They need a spotlight. MSK versus the Usos, it would sell. It'd be
That's
great.
what I'm saying. That was the way to get them up to the main roster. They did that whole stupid shaman thing, and then it's like, okay, we pulled scooters out of a bag. What are we doing with these scooters? Ride them up to the main roster. But no, we'll just forget that ever happened, like always.
Why wasn't the shaman Rob Van Dam?
I thought it was going to be Shawn Michaels.
Why?
Why? Because he's like has something to do with NXT, and they did the They did the MSK in green, like the DX thing.
I asked a question. Why are you laughing at me? Like I didn't ask a realistic question.
Jaychele, don't act like you didn't see your face. Poor Dan is here as our NXT expert to guide us through this.
I thought this was a safe
Jaychele is
space.
starting stuff.
I've been so nice this show. I don't know what you guys attacked me with the Booker T stuff, and I'm still not over that. We're gonna have an off-air conversation about Booker T. Jesus
I will
Lord.
be skipping the production meeting.
Oh, baby, no, you're not.
First and last episode of ADHD.
Hey Dan, do you want to start a show? Me and you.
Can we coexist?
Counter program.
Man, I want you to give an insight before we let you go of how it's like to be in a group chat with the three of us.
I'm just gonna leave. This has been wonderful. Thank you guys. See you
Stop,
later.
Dan.
Wow. He acts like he doesn't enjoy it, guys, but he likes it.
I'm surprised he knew how to leave.
Dan loves us. Dan is one of our bestest friends. I think we should play a clip from another one of our bestest friends, another one of Haley's bestest friends.
Wait, you're not talking about me, are you?
No. Fuck off, man. Oh, Jesus Christ. We have Jarrett Bailey. We have a conversation with Jarrett Bailey about that women's Rampage match. And we're just going to play that for you because you've heard us talk enough shit. Let's talk some good stuff about wrestling. Okay, guys? I think that's fair. Let's get it queued up. Hello, guys, and welcome to this pre-taped piece of ADHDivas. We don't want to sit here and talk to you for 2 hours, so we're going to give you some pre-taped goodies. I have a super special guest here with us today. I'm so excited. Jarrett, how are you doing?
Hello.
I'm so happy to have you. We didn't tell Haley about this at all.
I wasn't in on that part. I had no idea that was happening, by the way. I thought this was organized by y'all in terms of everybody knowing.
Two of us. We have a thing called a 2/3 vote. Let's get this overlay going. Let's fix this over here. We have a 2/3 vote, which basically allows. Ooh, and I gotta turn off the display names. And it basically allows for me and Kylie to do whatever we want without Haley.
Interesting.
So,
yep.
Haley, how are you feeling about this
podcast?
It's great. I feel blindsided, but you know what? You guys always blindside me, so it's fine.
I think this is only fair. I do have another surprise for you, Haley, that we will cover later.
Okay.
Okay, but let's start with some good stuff. I know we don't want to fully talk about AEW stuff because before this, you will have heard a rant from me about Big Swole and a bunch of other Black folks whose voices need to be heard about this conversation. But we had a really substantial match happen last night. Well, technically Wednesday, but it aired last night on Rampage, which was Ty Conti and the Bunny. Ty Conti and Anna Jay taking on the Bunny and Penelope Ford. So I feel like we can just kind of go around and give our thoughts about that match. I don't want to fully talk about the whole Rampage card. I don't think all of it really needs to be talked about. I feel like that was just like a standout match. But Kylie, do you want to give your thoughts on the match first?
It was way better than I expected it would be. I thought that I would be bored because these four have had just so many matches. But I thought there were some really creative spots. And I thought Anna Jay in particular really showed out. I thought she was really impressive. And I think her and the Bunny have really good chemistry. So I thought it was very good.
Yeah, I completely agree. I wasn't expecting them to be as like hardcore as they were. Like there was like so much blood involved. I don't know how the Bunny ended up bleeding that much. That didn't look safe at all. I hope that she was like pumping and she wasn't actually like injured like that, but that looked very, very bad.
Yeah, the finish was very good. The Queen Slayer with the blood everywhere, so good.
Yeah, Haley, what did you think about this match?
I really enjoyed the match. I love all four of them. I will say though, I feel like as far as like praise on the internet went, I don't understand why people like only praise the women when they bleed. You know what I mean? I was seeing a lot of that and I didn't understand it because I thought it was a great match just in general without that spot, but
I have some thoughts on that, but I'll let Jarrett go first before I share my thoughts about women bleeding.
Yeah, no, it was good. I really enjoyed it. I will say this though, to say that nothing substantial outside of that happened. I said that if Ethan Page didn't beat Cody Rhodes, I would riot, and lo and behold, Ethan Page didn't beat Cody Rhodes. But in terms of the match itself was really good. The rivalry that they've all had for the past several weeks has been really good. And it's helped elevate them all in a division that kind of needed elevating. And everybody's been talking about the women's division, AEW, not having enough, main event stars. I mean, you look at Ty Conti, what she's done for the past 6 months. I think she's kind of gotten up to that level. The Bunny's been really good. Penelope's been great. Anna Jay's been good. I do wish that, and AEW does this too much, they never let their heels win big matches, I feel. Outside of a select few, I would have liked to have seen Penelope and the Bunny win that personally, but just because outside of Dark and Elevation, I feel like heels don't get near enough TV wins, and I would have liked to see those two get the win rather than Ty Conti and Anna Jay, because I don't think they needed it as much. But regardless, there was a lot of really great spots in the match. Was it Penelope or the Bunny that took that back suplex under the pile of thumbtacks? Because that was brutal.
Oh, that was the Bunny.
It was the Bunny,
Absolutely. Just God almighty, that looked horrible. But no, it was an awesome match. Lots of spots that really... anytime they do that stipulation, that it's just going to be a bloodbath. And they did it with Thunder Rosa and Britt earlier or last year. So hopefully they keep doing stuff like this because, whenever they do, it doesn't disappoint.
Yeah, I just rewatched the match before I got on here because while I was watching the match, I was still very upset about all of the Swole stuff. So I had to look back at it when I was in a better place because I was very distracted going into all of Rampage. but I feel like those women worked really hard. Specifically, we look at like a Ty Conti and Anna Jay. They have less years in the business than like the Bunny and Penelope Ford do. So taking that into account and how much like they put their body on the lines, because like Haley said, it seems like in order for women to get over in AEW, they need to bleed. When that's not really the case for men. They don't really need to bleed to get over, which is very interesting. But I feel like that also might be because of how AEW has booked their women. They only come out of these big matches that have blood on top because of the way the AEW has booked them. So if they would have had like a 3-match feud that was closer together, because this was a really long feud. Like this was a long, drawn out feud that I would have liked to see more women get involved in, or even see this cut in half and had another feud in that same time that we had that, so we could add 2 feuds. But I think it would have been interesting to see them just let the feud die off without having to do this big bloody match and just letting the women actually wrestle. And I feel like that's one of the issues, is you can't let all of the women's characters be that they can bleed, because that's not a character trait. And that's what it seems like a little bit for Britt Baker, is that she was like, I did this hardcore match and now I'm over. And that's what it seemed like going into her title run. And that's still what it seems like to me, is that we're still all stuck on that, because she hasn't really had any matches that people are considering substantial since then, which is really, really problematic if you're champion. So I think as we look toward like the Thunder Rosa, who is likely to be the next champion, we need to keep this in mind, because Thunder Rosa can put on banging matches without bleeding. And we need to make sure that we have other women there who are ready to have matches like this. So like, I think this match was just like to kind of establish that Ty Conti and Anna Jay are credible challengers for the world championship. And that's what they need to be doing, is building up these young stars and stop treating them like they're 5 years out when they're really not. Like, let's take Swole into account here. We could have seen that Diamante feud on an actual Dynamite, like it could have just blown off on Dynamite, and people would have understood. You could do it like a video package, yada yada yada. And if they're able to use Dark how they did before to kind of elevate the talents by using other talents within the roster, I feel like they would be a lot better off. I think the problem overall for me is that we don't have more women's feuds, and I don't know how we get there if there's not like a change like soon, because we need to start to have like the TBS tournaments coming up. We need challengers to like be somewhat credible. Like we can't just have people coming from out of nowhere. Like, because even when they do the TNT open challenge, they're like online popular or whatever, or like they have at least somewhat of a name. And we're expecting that for the TBS tournament too. So these people need to come in with wins, and we need to make sure that they're being built up on TV as well. So they're not just like, oh, I'm here. Like the Ethan Page like contention match. If you would have looked at it like, what has Ethan Page done over these last couple of months, you would have been like, oh, I can kind of see him getting a title shot. He's been on TV. I know who he is. But if you look at like a Layla Hirsch, you're going to be like, she just had one match. Like, I don't know why she's challenging for the title. And that's going to be an issue that they're going to have unless they start to build up these women now. Sorry, I just talked for a long time. That always happens when I talk about women's wrestling.
It's okay. Well, and I also think the stories that AEW has, like you said, the feuds go on forever and ever and ever. Like Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa is probably the next title program. And they've been feuding forever, but there's like, they don't continue the story. So like they had the blow off match, and then they tease some things, but Britt has done nothing. So she's just waiting for Thunder Rosa, I guess. And then you have Sheeta and Dee, who are in the same boat. They have a really good match. We want more, and we get nothing. Then we get a video package in another match, and then we get nothing, and now more video packages. And it just makes
start.
And it's because we only have one women's match typically per Dynamite and one per Rampage. So there's nowhere to build feuds that we have consistently, like we did for Omega and Paige, or the Bucks and the Lucha Bros. Those are good long-term stories because they had the space to continue them. It wasn't like little isolated episodes. We need continuity.
Right, and I feel like even when we get Thunder Rosa as champion, let's look at the heels that they can have contend against her as a face. Who are the heels that they have ready for her right now? Besides the Bunny and Penelope Ford. And Britt.
Maybe Jade. Like, Jade's the one that they're pushing to the moon.
Well, it depends if Jade is still the TBS title holder. I think we're expecting her to win that belt.
That would be my guess.
I mean, they can have Jamie Hayter, but how many times can they do that match?
And I
Jamie
think
has so many losses too. That's crazy. Sorry,
I think
looked at her
Jamie
record.
Hayter is going to do something with Britt.
That probably would make sense.
Oh yeah, she'll definitely turn on Britt at some point, and they'll do some sort of blow off match with that. But I still don't think that they're gonna make Jamie Hayter like. If they turn Jamie on Britt, like Britt's still gonna be the heel there, and that's just gonna turn Jamie face. So she's not even gonna be able to do anything heel related. So I don't know. Like, I
mean, they'll probably do the Jamie match after Britt loses her title, and Britt will screw her out. So Britt will screw Jamie instead of that way, leaving Britt as the heel. If they continue to do that. I think they need to like try to work with Nyla Rose, see if you can get her to be a title contender again. She's always like a good contender. She had that great match with Britt, really. Obviously, there's Deeb. They would have a great match. You just need to cement Deeb more as a heel. I feel like she's kind of like a tweener. I mean, she's only a heel because she was up against Sheeta. Otherwise, you'd probably be cheering for her. I think they need to use Diamante better. She might be small, but she's still a really, really great wrestler. Emi Sakura is a heel also now. She's a heel on Dark anyway, and she would be great too. They can bring over people from Japan also. Maki Ito, she could probably play heel, to be honest. Mei Suruga would be great as well. I think they have some options. They just haven't invested the time into them yet.
And I also think that there are some names that they could sign, some free agents, especially from ROH and WWE. I'm not sure if they would put any of them straight into the title picture, but they did it with Ruby Soho. So,
look, if you're Tony Khan right now, like out of all the people that got released by WWE, like obviously everybody wants to see Keith Lee go there. Ember Moon and Mia Yim need to be at the very top of his list. Like there's no way in hell you can let either of them slip through your fingers if you're Tony Khan, because they are two of the best women's wrestlers in the world right now. The fact that they somehow became free agents and you can scoop them up here relatively soon, though. I mean, they got released in November, so I mean, they got a little bit.
They're looking
more
like
time.
Revolution time. Yeah,
that's exactly. So if we're gonna get any sort of fun debuts with any of them, I mean, they just got Mercedes Martinez, which is great. Hopefully,
that's a great start. So proud of them for that one.
So let's see what they do. Let's see what they do with that. But yeah, if you're Tony Khan, you are doing everything you can to get Ember Moon and Mia Yim, like more so than Keith Lee. I think, like as great as Keith Lee is, you need to booster this women's division.
Yeah, the division is just too small, and the men's division is too big. It just makes no sense. I love Keith Lee, and you could sign him. You can, but you can't sign him at the expense of the women's division. That's just not fair.
I also think that they have, like, the ROH people, like you said, like, they have Willow Nightingale available. She's worked some darks. They have Trish Adora available. She's working some darks. And they love to pick people up off the indies when it comes to men. Let's see that happen when it comes to women as well. I think those people would be super interesting. They could even, like I said, they can start to look at Ali Ketch as well. If they want to look at like some GCW people over there, they have some like great options who are available right now. I think especially as we look towards veterans in the division, it's super important. Like we see Mercedes Martinez just got picked up. Serena Deeb is working as a producer right now. It's really important to have those people behind the scenes who can help produce matches and help the women who don't have as much experience, because that's what people always say, they're unexperienced, everybody's so green. They're going to stay green until you give them opportunities. And that's the same thing with Jade. It's people always have the complaint that she's green. She's going to stay green until she gets these opportunities. And I could talk about this for days. Does anybody have any final comments on this match? Jarrett, let's give you the chance to plug. Where can they find you? Tell them all about your football stuff too, even though people who watch this probably don't watch football.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just follow me on Twitter at JBaileyNFL. You don't got to read my football stuff. I tweet enough about wrestling. So at JBaileyNFL on Twitter. That's about it.
I think we now have a thing where we have to get every person on the show in some way just because we do it to us. Haley, at the beginning of this episode, will have Ada Onion. So it'll all be full circle by the time that this is seen. So
you're just eating like a whole actual onion? Like,
oh,
I have a backstory.
Wait, what?
I'm not eating the whole onion.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're just taking like a big bite out of it, like an apple. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I like onions, but Jesus.
This is why I had.
They're making me do it.
Why are they making you do it?
Harassment. This is a toxic.
You're just making her eat an onion.
A raw potato first. No, backstory.
Not even
ate a raw potato first. She goes, "Do you want to see me eat a raw potato?" Without anyone recording.
Not even live. We weren't even live. We were in a production meeting.
Literally a production meeting.
Raw potato.
Take a bite.
You made us watch a video of a guy eating a raw potato, and I was like, you know what? I wonder what that tastes like. I just wanted to know.
Listen, you said it was fair. We watched videos of people eating tomato soup, eating tomatoes. I know you remember this, Haley. I know you remember. We saw people eat jalapenos, and then Kylie said it's only fair. You have to watch somebody eat a potato because I'm potato girl. So then you said, I wonder what a raw potato tastes like. And you go get a raw potato and you eat it. And then listen, and then I said, you should eat an onion for the show. And you go, no. And then you said, I'll do it if you do something too. So next week I'm eating a spicy chip. Kylie's gonna walk on Legos.
I think that's fair. I think I went easy
walking on Legos.
Could have went worse.
Well, I like.
Then you're eating paper next, so be prepared.
Why is Kylie walking on Legos?
I chose it.
Jaychele chose it.
Okay.
I have to go buy Legos. I don't have any.
Jaychele, what are you doing?
I'm eating a really, really spicy chip that's supposed to make me like cry, like a ghost pepper chip.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, was it that the spicy chip challenge thing that blew up on?
No, I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. No, I'm getting the same brand of chips. Listen, I'm getting the same. That's a Carolina Reaper chip.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that. I'm eating a ghost pepper chip, which is fair. It's not like I told you to eat the whole onion, so I'm eating a ghost pepper chip. Fair. 2/3 vote. 2/3.
Have you tried the? Oh, okay, there it goes. Have you tried the last dab sauce from Hot Ones?
We have a sauce episode coming up. Maybe we should get it. Do you want to think about it, ladies? I don't. That sounds like actual torture, though. That sounds like Garrett is saying.
I like spicy stuff.
I do too.
Fuck off.
I mean, that stuff doesn't even taste like anything. It just tastes like gasoline in hell. It's not good.
Okay, we are back, guys. No, I'm not doing the one chip challenge. That's never happening. That's where I draw the line. And let me switch us back. Okay, god damn. Oh, fuck. This is not happening. Never in a million years. That's not, no. That's out of the question. Like, that's like actually bad.
I'll do it with you.
It'd be good content, though.
I don't give a fuck about content when it comes to a fucking Carolina Reaper. No.
I will do it with you.
I don't give a fuck what you do. I'm not doing that shit.
Kylie, we can do it together.
Yeah. Well, we're going to start our own podcast, Jaychele.
Yeah, we're team players.
Close the show then. Close the show. Go for it.
Go ahead, Jaychele. Show so we can go.
I told you to close the show. You got your own podcast. Close the show.
We don't have a name for a podcast yet.
Okay.
Like, I promise you it'll be better than this one because we'll do the one chip challenge when people demand it.
I will literally do everything fucking else besides eat a hot chip.
It's just one.
I'm not doing that. I'm not.
Okay.
I'll
find a way to convince you, don't worry.
I'll interview Atticus, but I won't eat a chip.
I want the Atticus interview. I just want to talk to that man. I want to know what's going on in his head. Why does he think the way he does?
I will cry.
Now we have to.
No chips. Atticus.
Okay, no chips. Atticus.
Fine. Okay. Let's close this fucking show. We've been on here for 2 hours. I'm tired. Who's a fucking coward? You want to read my DMs, JJ? Oh, Jesus Christ. They're joking. They're not starting a new podcast. They're joking. If that's what you're commenting about, they're not.
I mean,
we are soulmates. It makes sense. Jaychele, we're just kidding.
We would never jump ship and leave you.
We love you,
You're a soulmate too.
This was supposed to be a funny episode where Haley eats an onion and then we
And
just
it
both
was
shit
funny.
to the...
It was funny.
It turned into me being Booker T.
Okay, I was joking.
One of the only black men I despise.
I'd never. So that's all her.
Okay. Join us next week, I guess. We're gonna watch Austin Gunn rap. We were gonna do it on this episode, but we went over time. I hate the Gunn brothers. I fucking hate the Gunn Club.
Same. It's bad.
Seems bad. Like, I'm so tired. I don't know how we're gonna finish this. Haley, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter. Wow, that was the worst pointing that I've ever done. You can also find me on bodyslam.net as a writer, and yeah.
This is not funny. This is not. I still barely know who that man is.
You're also 17.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a Jackass watch along live stream, and
I love that.
That's how you're gonna get introduced to Johnny Knoxville.
Yes.
You're gonna be so confused, Jaychele. It's gonna be great.
No.
Yes.
Kylie, plug your stuff.
You can follow me on Twitter at Fuller_Kylie. You can read my writing on bodyslam.net. You can find me on the Body Slam YouTube. I do podcasts. I did the GCW post show last night. And I do interviews with Jaychele.
You said it this time.
Because I knew Jaychele would be mad if I didn't.
Dude, I'm so tired. Oh, God. I don't even know what we're doing next week. We'll have to talk about it off here and we'll announce it. But that's why you should follow us on the Twitters. ADHDivas Pod on Twitter. We'll be announcing the stuff we got coming up next week. Apparently, I'm dancing, eating a jalapeno, and we're watching the Gunn Brothers. This seems like next week is an episode to torture me, when in reality, that's what happened this episode.
It seems like
that's
it's
an unfair statement. Wait, pause. Unfair.
Next week, I have to do 3 tortures. Haley did 1, and I had 1 with the Booker T.
That was hardly torture.
Dude! We're going to talk off air. You know I love my black people. I never include Booker T when I say
you
that.
can't be mean to me because I am sick.
You're trying to fuck on me! You're trying to fuck on me! That's the only thing I like Cody Rhodes for. Oh my God, if you haven't seen that, why are you making that face? Stop. Stop. You heard what that man said. He thinks he solved racism. Can't accept that. Follow us on Twitter at bodyslamnet. That's our Body Slam Twitter. I don't know why I'm having a hard time. It's 2 hours into the show. I'm struggling. I'm sorry, guys. Wow. Also, ADHDivas Pod is where we got that video at. If you want to see the video of Cody, Kiley Fuller. That's what your name is. Cody, Kiley Fuller.
Yeah, respected here. Soulmate Podcast coming next week. Jaychele won't be there.
It's the perfect mesh of your names. Cody, Haley, Kiley Fuller. There you go. Perfect. Sounds great.
Okay,
let's close the show. This is getting real bad as we go on. Jesus Christ. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Jaychele Nicole. Not that you would want to after this show. This is not a good representation of my work. I promise I do better work sometimes.
You do interviews.
I can't even tell them who I do interviews with to make them watch. Fuck off. Jesus Christ. I also do a show on here called Fantasy Booking Friday on Fridays, and it's coming out on Wednesdays now too, if you're interested in that. They're all taped episodes, so everything's kind of delayed, but it's still really good. You guys can follow us on all social media platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, everywhere. I'm tired. We're all tired. Can I say it? Do I have permission?
Sure.
Clean your pussy. Bye, guys.